Hi there, Karen with Ageless Beauty Pro, and I just did the selfie mask that you just saw, and my skin is actually really nice and smooth and bright compared to kind of where it was. So if you want a real quick pick me up and a real quick smoothing, exfoliating, then that mask is really nice. And it has the name selfie mask for a reason, because it's meant for, making you look like your best self, like on camera or just in life, whatever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite tools that I like to use for fascia release. Now, you've probably heard of this or seen this. I'm just going to give you my take on it and why I think it's very important that you use these, especially if you're investing in some of the higher level tools like the Time Master Pro, if you're doing microcurrent or anything like that. Because what you want to do is you want to release that fascia that's holding very tight. Like for instance, like right here, I have this little pocket that's starting to form, and I really need to work to release that pocket, because what's happening is some fat and scar tissue and lymph is accumulating in this area, and what's happening is the fascia is holding that in place. So if I can release that, then I can more easily sculpt and work on my jawline. Now that is going to be the same for your nasolabial areas as well. Your fascia is going to get very tight in there, and you'll see when you start using these tools just how tight and tender these areas are. You'll be really surprised when you release that. Then you're able to get in there and micro sculpt and plump, and your tools are just going to work that much better. So also in your cheekbone, under this area, this holds a lot of tightness right in here. And if you can get in there and release that, that's going to help microsculpt as well. So the first tool that I'm going to talk about is this little fascia release tool that I use. And I do send it along with a little marula oil. You can use any oil, lotion, serum that you like. And it works best if you have a little something on your skin, just to help the glide. I have one of these in my shower that I use on my body, because I have talked about how this is really nice at helping release some of the lumps and bumps that we get on our legs and our arms, like arm cellulite, those little lumps. Even if you work out and you have like muscle tone, you can still get some like little lumps and bumps under there. And this, if you kind of rub it like on your arm, in the shower, back and forth, all different ways, and I'll show you a couple other tips, that's going to help you kind of keep those a little more slimlined and smooth. But you got to be consistent. It's not permanent. But if you do it in your shower at least a few times a week, you should see some nice results. So you just grip onto this. And talking about the jawline, I've got my little bit of oil on there. I did my mask. And if you're going to do a whole treatment, start with a good exfoliation, do a little fascia release, and then do your treatment. Okay, and then you can rub lightly back and forth along fascia. You do not want to dig in and rub and knead and cause bruises or anything like that. I did use this tool about a week ago. I was really doing an intense treatment. I was just kind of laying in bed watching TV, and I really got into this area here, and boy, I was actually sore for 2 days afterwards, but I released that little tight bit of fascia that was holding this little pocket that I was getting. And I was just doing it by, you can go lightly over like this, and this is awesome for just releasing general tension, general fascia around your mouth, and just very light. I mean, you're not digging in or anything, you're just going over, increasing blood flow. It's going to help with some of that tightness that gets held under your eyes here that starts forming pockets. You want to be very careful around your eye area always. I even use it up here. I have somewhat hooded eyes. I like to release that. That helps release. Boy, it not only releases the tight hold that you get in over your eyes here, but it also can help release sinus drainage. I'll show you a couple tips for that. And that's all going to help to drain fluids and anything that's holding in your face that's just not looking that great. So one tip I want to show you first on doing the jawline is you would start under your jaw. You can use it this way, like this. And what I'm doing is I'm just holding it on there. Now I'm not going in super deep, but I'm being firm. And I'm just pressing back and forth. And you can feel there is some tenderness when you haven't done this. And it's actually a little painful sometimes when you find the spots. If it's really released, you'll be fine. If you clench your jaw at night, this is going to be such a great tool for you because you're going to be able to get in there and just work it, and you'll feel the tightness and you'll feel the release. And it feels so good when it releases that you'll want to do it often. And if you find there's like a week that goes by that you don't do this and then you get back to it, you'll notice those little tight areas starting to form again. But if you do this, I can tell I've got a little tightness right here and a little pain, just a little spot right here that's holding on. And I just release and I work all the way up doing that. And you can work on these areas for several minutes at a time. I would say start low, go high. So if you've been doing this for a while, then you're going to know your spots. You're going to know how much you can get away with. You're going to know what works for you. At first, do your light fascia, work in some areas that might be your problem areas. If you've got a problem with this nasolabial, what you can do is you can work, like get these teeth kind of right up in there and then just gently work it back and forth. You will feel tightness if you have not done this. Okay, you can use your knuckle, you can use your finger. If you have nails, this isn't going to work, right? So you want something like this that's definitely going to get in these spots and be able to release. Working under the chin, same way. That cheekbone area. You will see some people have and I have it on one side more than the other, a real tightness, a real pull. You see that little pull that's going on there that's not allowing this to spring up and be as plump as on this side. This side doesn't have it. This is kind of my slack side, so I'm working on it to really show you where I have my problem areas. And luckily it's on my right side, so I'm right-handed and I can use this tool more easily. I do have to be careful to try to go over my left side as well, but this is usually where I really find I need more release. I have a lot more tightness and jaw clench on this side, and a lot more that I need to release. So I work this pretty significantly. And then if you do at least 2 of these treatments a week, 2 to 3, you will find you can just pick up your mini or your TMP and just, do a quick treatment, and you won't need to do the whole thing where you're doing this and then that. If you have a Saturday afternoon or something free and you're just doing nothing, you're laying in bed, maybe watching a movie. Sometimes that's what I do and get my R&R time on the weekend. I'll just grab one of these tools and do a really good treatment, whether it's maybe a fascia, and then I'll do a really good intense mini treatment, and that kind of lasts me for a few days. And then if I need to during the week, I can just pick it up and do a quick micro sculpt, and I get that muscle memory in there. So if you do a real nice long intense treatment and then you just do your quick 5-10 minute before you put your makeup on, your muscles have memory, so they will come back and spring back to where you told them to be. So anyway, those are just a few treatments that you can do. Just kind of you don't want to dig and go back and forth. There was something called fascia blasting or something a few years ago. It was very popular, and people were just eradicating the fascia, and you really want your fascia. Your fascia is that fine filament that, people, and I use the term under that chicken, raw chicken, if you just peel back the skin on the chicken and there's that filament in there, that little sort of milky layer that holds the skin to the muscle, That's your fascia, and that's what's holding everything in place, and it gets really knotted up and really tight. And then, these are all little lines and wrinkles, or little cellulite pockets of fat and toxins that accumulate, and fluids. And if you just kind of work that fascia, then everything kind of can just smooth out and lay a little more smoothly, and it's a little more workable than when it's tight. If anyone ever says to me, oh, I don't really get results with microcurrent, or my Time Master Pro's not really giving me the results I want, we go over a treatment protocol, and it always is going to include releasing your fascia, because once you do that, your muscles are open and relaxed and open to do what you tell them to do, and not tight in their spot. So that is that. Again, you can use it all over your face. This is another tool that I'm using. This is the gua sha. This is the jade tool. These are like so cheap. They are some of the best tools that I have. Cheapest little things that you can travel with, and they're really worth investing either in one or both. This one I really like, because what it does is, this I use a lot of times in the morning. I'll keep it actually in the pocket of my robe, and if I'm having coffee, I'll just sit and kind of grab it, and it will help release some of those lymph and toxins and fluidity that gathers. You know how in the morning you just feel kind of puffy, and you feel like you're just not awake yet, and you're not looking your best, and this can really kind of help. I like how it really gets right in the contour there, and boy, I can feel that little pocket there when I press through here. You can use it under and all the way up, and this is fantastic to use during facials. You can really get it into that nasolabial line and work it back and forth. And if you're doing both, this is going to just help that much more. You can work it under your eye here like this. What I like is that you can work it over the eye like this, and really kind of just firmly smooth it along to release. I often will press it right here in some of these sinus points, like above my eye and in the inner corner of your eye. If you've ever had a massage or a facial and you had the facialist kind of hold right here, that really released that pressure and sinus and fluid accumulation. Like, you will get some drainage actually if you do that. So that is really nice. You can use it around your mouth and just kind of follow the natural contours up, and that's going to help you really kind of release some of that fluid and some of that buildup, and help kind of just give you a nice little sculpt to your face, a non-machine type of sculpt, to get rid of some of that toxins and fluid that builds up. And if you do it consistently, again, you won't need to do it, every single day, but you do it on the days where, you've maybe had some wine the night before or something with a lot of salt or something, and you've got that fluid buildup, and you're just feeling really tight, like maybe you clenched your jaw all night, you're under a lot of stress. This is a really nice thing for that too. So you can work under your chin, all your areas. One thing I'm going to tell you really quick about this one is, if you have tension in your neck, this guy, I tell you, working at the computer and working on clients and things, you get a lot of tension, or just sometimes if I sleep kind of hunched up, those cords in your neck, if you can kind of get these in there and just press and kind of move them around, you are going to feel immense pain and tenderness at first, but then when you just keep working it really slowly, really gently, and you just keep very slowly doing that, it's going to release. And it's going to feel so wonderful to not have all that tension and be holding on to all of that. So anyways, these were just some of the really inexpensive and wonderkin little tools that I use, and I think that you will really like, especially if you're going on and investing in some of the higher priced devices. you definitely want to give them the best chance to work, the best chance that they can. So these are wonderful things to do. And again, you just do them a few times a week, or whenever you feel like you need it, or before a treatment. And I think you're going to notice your results are even just that much better, and you're also going to feel better. It's really nice to release all that tension and stress that we hold in our faces and in our necks. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you like that, and give me a thumbs up, a like, or a comment. I always do like to read my comments, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.